days are recommending Roth IRA conversions, particularly with the notion that tax rates are at historical lows. And from that perspective, certainly that Roth IRA conversion makes sense, but there's a number of pitfalls that folks need to be aware of before they decide to do that conversion. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, where we help you make sense out of all of life's decisions involving your dollars. We're Central Florida's longest running radio program, coming to you every Sunday morning on the News Radio Orlando network, along with 96.9 The Game. Also happen to be one of the top 25 financial planning podcasts on the World Wide Web, with over 12,000 downloads of our episodes. My name is Joel Garris. I'm a certified financial planner, certified financial fiduciary with Nelson Financial Planning, where our team of certified financial fiduciaries stands ready this week to help you change your life with a successful financial plan that provides you with peace of mind for the future. So, what's the basics of a Roth conversion in the first place? You hear a lot of folks talking about that, and really the process there is that you take part or maybe all of your individual retirement account, your IRA, and you convert it to a Roth. And so what that process means is that in your IRA, the money that's traditionally in an IRA is money that you put in on a pre-tax basis. So that money is money that has not had any taxes paid on it, and so it is tax deferred until such time as you draw it out in retirement, whereupon you've got to pay taxes on it every dollar you take out. That's your traditional IRA. On a Roth, on the other hand, it's sort of the flip of that, whereby the Roth represents contributions you made on an after-tax basis, meaning you didn't take a tax deduction for it when you made the contribution, and when you retire, you get to take the money out of the Roth and not have to worry about any taxes whatsoever. So when you do a conversion, what you do is you basically convert the IRA money over to after-tax money by basically paying all of the taxes on the amount that you convert. So let's say you convert $100,000 of an IRA to a Roth. That means that you're going to take that $100,000 and put that into your tax return for the year in which you did the conversion, and then you've got to pay the taxes on that at one shot. And that's how the conversion works. Ultimately, the $100,000 winds up in a Roth, but understand that you've still got to deal with the tax bill that comes from taking $100,000 out of the IRA and sliding it over to the Roth. So that's the conversion process itself. Certainly makes some sense when tax rates are low and the expectation is that tax rates are going to be high, but there's definitely some pitfalls to be aware of before you just jump straight into it. And there's a number of pitfalls, and that's why we encourage people to really look at the numbers on the conversion before you do it, not after, because there's a number of things that can happen that could surprise you and create a much greater tax liability than you realize. So we're going to hit some of the highlights on that and make sure that you're thinking about that if in fact you're considering a conversion, a Roth conversion. And first and foremost of all is that if you're currently on Medicare and you do a conversion, remember the amount that you convert comes into your tax return as part of your income. So that means that your total income picture is going to increase by the amount that you converted. And if it increases above a certain level, and for Medicare purposes, that's above $87,000 if you're single, above $174,000 if you're a married couple, what happens there is that your Medicare premiums will go up if you're above those income thresholds. Most people don't realize this until it happens to them, but the amount that you actually pay for Medicare, Part B, Part D, is a function of how much income you make. You make more income above those thresholds that we just shared with you, then you're going to pay more. How much more? Well, your premium for Part B could be an extra $58 roughly per month. Your premium for Part D could be roughly an extra $12 per month. So put those two together and it's about an extra $70 a month that it could happen that your Medicare premiums have gone up. And that's just the start. The higher your income level, the more those Medicare premiums jump to the point where the maximum level, highest level of income, highest increase in the Medicare premiums could be as much as $350 per month on Part B and as much as $76 per month on Part D. So know that if you're going to do a conversion, that you've got to kind of see all of the ripples, and that's just one ripple that can happen. Another one is that you may very well have to pay the Medicare taxes that come with higher income levels. So if your income as a single person is above $200,000, and again, got to include the amount that you converted over now as part of that total income, or if you're married above $250,000, there is a net investment income tax, basically an extra Medicare tax, that works out to be 3.8%, almost 4%, that you would then have to pay on top of that. So definitely some things that can ripple through, just as they can if you are getting Obamacare. So let's say you're not collecting Medicare, your income is not going to break above these thresholds that would trigger these extra Medicare taxes. But if you're getting Obamacare and you're getting that premium tax credit where your income is now lower, less than about $65,000 of income, and you're eligible for those advanced tax credits that come with that health insurance that you would get through Obamacare, if you do a conversion, that's extra income that would then push you over those limits. And you might very well find that you have to return all of that premium tax credit you got. And if you've ever seen anybody return that has had to do that, it can be a crazy big number, like $12,000 type of number. So just know that when you do a conversion, comes into income. If you're getting a premium tax credit based upon low income, doing a conversion is going to make you into high income, and that's going to create a problem on your taxes. Just so as with Social Security as well, Social Security income, different lines will adjust to make you pay either 50% of your Social Security or include 50% of your Social Security as income on your tax return, all the way up to 85%. And those aren't very high thresholds on that. So for Social Security, if you're single, above $34,000, married, above $44,000, you could wind up having 85% of your Social Security included in your income. And again, doing a conversion, extra income could easily make you above those thresholds. Similarly, capital gains rates. Capital gains rates are at 0% if you're in the 15% tax bracket, but if you're in the higher brackets, then that 0% goes to 15% pretty quickly. And where does that happen? If you're single, making about $60,000 gross income, married couples making about $100,000 gross income. So again, not big thresholds of income that can trigger a big ripple effect in terms of the other tax rates that may be applicable to you. So another place where you can kind of run into some surprises is that, remember, your medical expenses, to the extent you're writing off your medical expenses, your dental expenses, the amount that you can write off is subject to a threshold that's based upon your adjusted gross income. So typically the threshold is 7.5% of adjusted gross income. But again, if you did a conversion, you've got extra income, that threshold then goes up much more because it's 7.5% of a bigger number, which means that you may very well find your medical, dental expenses winds up getting more limited in terms of your ability to write off. And then, heaven forbid, that you don't live in Florida. Of course, why wouldn't you live in Florida, right? We're like sunny all the time. There's no state income taxes. The reality is that that's where another part of this can potentially bite you. If you live in a state that's got state income tax, you do a conversion, remember, it's not just federal taxes you're going to owe on that. You're going to owe state income taxes as well. Bottom line, generally speaking, it's a great time to look at the option of a Roth IRA conversion. I'm not saying that at all, okay? Because tax rates are clearly very, very low in today's environment. But you've got to run the numbers and you've got to see whether you're going to be impacted by the ripple effect that extra income can have on your tax return. So many different things on one's tax return are correlated to the amount of income that they have. And when those income thresholds get triggered, you're going to wind up paying a whole lot more than you may expect than just looking purely at, oh, I'm converting X number of dollars on a Roth conversion. So certainly something to think about on that. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation here on Dollars and Cents with 3 questions that you need to answer before applying for Social Security. All that and more coming up next on the program.